Welcome back. So how is Node different than JavaScript? Well, we know that JavaScript is a programming language. And anytime you want to run some JavaScript code or a file on your computer, you send it to a JavaScript engine, like Chrome's V8, but also potentially others, like Firefox's SpiderMonkey engine, or Chakra, which was used in early versions of Microsoft's Edge browser. This engine then converts those JavaScript instructions to those that your hardware on your computer or phone understands. And it then goes ahead and follows those instructions. In many ways, as a developer, you're the boss. And it's the computer doing all the hard work. I know that programming can be hard work sometimes too. But as programmers, we get to do the fun work, giving the computer all of the higher level JavaScript instructions, while it goes ahead and deals with all of the bits and bytes. Now, this flow applies regardless of how you're running your JavaScript. Whether it's Node.js or Chrome or any of the other browsers, there's always a JavaScript engine reading in your code. In fact, all of these browsers that you see here use Chrome's V8 engine. Anyway, Node.js is a way of running JavaScript instructions on your computer outside of the web browser. Node only became possible because the Chrome team from Google made the V8 engine open source. And Ryan Dahl took advantage of this release by the Chrome team and created the Node runtime around the V8 JavaScript engine. Now, Node contains a lot more than just V8, but prior to Node, JavaScript could only be run in a browser and not standalone, because browsers were the only ones who had JavaScript engines, like V8. Node was built so that we could run JavaScript anywhere, including your computer, but also your phone, or, believe it or not, even to control robots. Whenever you run JavaScript outside of the browser, chances are you're running Node. Now, there are other JS runtimes available now, like Deno, which uses the V8 engine similarly to Node.js. And there's even ways of running Node.js using other JavaScript engines. So there's a way of plugging in the Chakra engine from Microsoft to power Node.js. But these are all modern developments. Node with V8 was where it all really started, and where using JavaScript on the backend, which is something we'll get into very shortly, it's where using JavaScript on the backend became widespread. Alright, so enough with the history review. What's the difference to us as developers when running JavaScript code in Node compared to when we run it in the browser? Going into our trusty REPL, we've already seen that in Node, window and all of the global functions that it provides in the browser are not defined. This makes sense because there's no browser or browser window that's currently running. Instead, Node has its own version called Global, which, like Window, has a bunch of things that we can use. For example, the process object, which we saw earlier, and the argv property that has the list of arguments that were passed into our Node program. We can access things like global.process.argv, but we don't need to import them from elsewhere. In fact, We don't even need to specify that they come from global. We can just type process.argv, and it's already in scope. Global has all of the functionality that we can use directly. Even the console.log function that we're so familiar with is actually global.console.log. And we can say hello. We don't have access to browser-specific things like window or the document object, but we do have access to some very useful Node-specific things. Let's learn more about the globals that Node gives us in the next video. I'll see you then.